Said that being religious entails integrating these three spheres of human experience: the interpretive, looking for meaning; the spiritual; and the moral ethical. And we said that the interpretive, which is akin to theological or philosophical, entails probing existence or stories, think of it either way, or its meaning. What do I think about life's purpose, divine action, creation, suffering, goodness, free will? Spiritual, with these inward religious responses to existence: gratitude, awe, assent, humility, and reverence. And the moral ethical, with outward communal responses to existence, such as compassion, fair-mindedness, respect, and responsibility. Was Darwin a religious naturalist? So what I did was I went through a lot of Darwin's writings and pulled up things that strike me as being interpretive, and to offer up to you the notion that he was a pioneer religious naturalist. So here's what Darwin wrote about the person of God. Although I did not think much about the existence of a personal God until a considerably later period of my life, which isn't true, he went to seminary for a while. But anyway, I will here give the vague conclusions to which I have been driven. He really didn't want to talk about this stuff. The old argument from design in nature, as given by Paley, and the modern intelligent design movement is just a repeat of that, which formerly seemed to me so conclusive, fails now that the law of natural selection has been discovered. We can no longer argue that, for instance, the beautiful hinge of a bivalve shell must have been made by an intelligent being, like the hinge of a door by man. There seems to be no more design in the variability of organic beings and in the action of natural selection than in the course which the wind blows. On mystery. The mystery of the beginning of all things is insoluble by us. We would now say, before the Big Bang. And I, for one, must be content to remain an agnostic. And this is the one that I threw in as a consequence of conversation at dinner last night, on the importance of knowledge acquired by scientific inquiry. Ignorance more frequently begets confidence than is knowledge. It is those who know little, and not those who know much, who so positively assert that this or that problem will never be solved by science. Here's some of the spiritual writings. When I view all beings not as special creations, but as the lineal descendants of some few beings which lived long before the first bed of the Cambrian system was deposited, they seem to me to become ennobled on reverence for nature. But when on shore, I was writing this for the Beagle, and wandering in the sublime forests, surrounded by views more gorgeous than you ever imagined, I enjoy a delight which none but those who have experienced it can understand. At the time, this was kind of the view of human evolution as codified by Ernst Haeckel, where he got a lot of these relationships between critters right, but these were all kind of branches, and guess what? The point of those are bound as men to be. Was Darwin takes this on in some statements of the spiritual response that I would call humility. Animals, whom we have made our slaves, we do not like to consider our equal. Man is descended from a hairy-tailed quadruped, probably arboreal in its habits. Man, in his arrogance, thinks himself a great work, worthy of the interposition of a deity. More humble and, I believe, true to consider him created from animals. And then, never use the words higher or lower, he admonished himself in one of his diaries. And then probably the most famous Darwin quote from a spiritual perspective: "There is grandeur in this view of life, with its several powers having been originally breathed into a few forms or into one. And that, whilst this planet has gone cycling on according to the fixed law of gravity, from so simple a beginning, endless forms most beautiful and most wonderful have been and are being evolved." This virtue, one of the noblest with which man is endowed, seems to arise incidentally from our sympathies becoming more tender and more widely diffused until they are extended to all sentient